Hey everybody out there in YouTube and cyber world and whatever else you want to call it, and interweb and whatnot. So don't worry, it's not the camera making me look fat, it's just my fat ass making me look fat. I'm not jumping up on a soapbox to preach at anybody, but we got a lot of stuff going on right now. Yes, I'm on my back porch on my porch swing. We got a lot of things going on right now with a bunch of, racism, and racism is fueled by hate, and racism is fueled by ignorance. It's an unfortunate situation, and I have my own theories on where all this is coming from, but when it boils down to it, the bottom line is it's a battle between good and evil. It's a battle between God and the devil. God cast Lucifer down to earth to basically to tend to the world, and that's why he's here. That's why no matter what happens, he's going to do whatever he needs to do to get to you. It doesn't matter if he goes through you directly, if he goes through your children, if he goes through your animals, if he goes through your parents, your grandparents, if he goes through your neighbor, if he goes through, he doesn't care. He'll go through whoever he has to get to you. And that's just the bottom line. I'm just going to read a few things, and I'm not one to hide it. I did not a lot of time, but I did a little time in jail, and I learned a lot while I was there, and I met a lot of really good men while I was there, whether they worked there or whether or not they were in there with me. And a lot of things happen, and a lot of things change when you're in a situation where all you can do is think and stay in your own head. But the biggest thing that I learned was to make sure that I talked to God and I prayed. And again, I'm not a Bible thumper. I'm not a holy roller. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, nothing like that. Haven't, as far as drinking, in over 6 years. But I still use some vulgar language, which I shouldn't use. There's a lot of things, like I said, as far as what's going on, we got a lot of things going on in the world, and I think it has to do with many different things. One of my very good friends, he posted a video the other day that was very straight to the point about discipline, lack of respect by the youth of today, and just in general lack of respect for law enforcement, military, any type of authoritative figure, whether it be a principal in a school or a teacher, your parents, police, military, whatever the case is. That's one of the biggest things that I see there. And I agree with him wholeheartedly. Love him to death like a brother. Wouldn't take nothing away from him, and would stand beside him till we both were dead if I had to, and drag him out if I had to. Don't care what. I believe in God. I believe in the USA. I believe in the American flag, the Constitution, your Bill of Rights. I believe that everyone has a right, and I think there's a way to go about distributing your information and how you feel about your rights. I wear this shirt. I try to wear it every Friday if I can, and it's what we call Red Friday, for Remember Everyone Deployed. I support my military. I am prior military. I'm a veteran. So, and I'm not bragging by no means. I'm just throwing some things out there. But back to what I was talking about. I've got, when I was in jail, there were a lot of good guys in there that I was in there with, and one of them passed on some information to me. He passed on a Bible to me while I was in there when he got out, and that Bible, he had a very long list of different verses and chapters of books that he had written down, and I'm just going to read a few of them to you. You take it as you will. I think a lot of things are pretty good. Like right now, got one here. This one is in reference to, let me find it, where'd it go? Well, I'll just go ahead and read it. Basically, it's John 14, verse 1 through 4. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. And this is Jesus talking. In my Father's house there are so many mansions. If it were not so, I would not have told you. And I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go, ye and the way we know. So that essentially is just letting you know that don't be troubled, that God has a place for you, or Jesus in this case is talking. He has a place for you with Him. Now, of course, it ain't free. We all know that. He gave His own blood for us. So, a couple of other ones. Slow down my swing here so I can turn the pages and stuff. This one is get over here, see what I got. I think this is just basically, this one here is needing rules for living. You could read all of Romans 12. The whole chapter 12 of Romans, but Romans 12:18, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. That definitely, there's some more reference. Mark 9, chapter 9, verse 50, and Hebrews chapter 12, verse 14, also in reference to basically, if at all possible, live peacefully with your fellow man. I think that is another one that obviously stands with today's happenings that are going on. There's another one here, real quick. This is 1 Corinthians. This one is... I'm actually getting it. I can read this without my that's why it's large print. No glasses for this one. 1 Corinthians verse chapter 1. No, this is not it. That wasn't it. There's another one there, but this is where did it go? I know I've got it in here. I apologize for taking so long on this. Should have been better prepared. I didn't know I was going to be giving myself a pop quiz. But anyway, 1 Corinthians, it's chapter 12. Let's see here. No, it wasn't chapter 12. It was chapter 13. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 through 8. Charity suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, and it is not puffed up. Doth not behave itself unseemingly, seeketh not her own, it is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil. Reference to that's 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 24. Rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoice in the truth, or with the truth. Beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. reference on those is going to be Romans chapter 15, verse 1, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 24. Charity never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. So essentially, the good triumphs over evil. The charity triumphs over the uncharitable. There is another one here. This is Psalms. Psalms 113. Where'd you go? Golly, I can't believe I did this. Just got all out of whack. Psalms, that's 42. Oh, here we go. Psalms 121, that wasn't it. Where did you go? I just marked it. In the meantime, y'all just start singing some hymns to yourself there. I don't know, some... You know what, it's funny, while I'm looking for this, I live in front of an apartments complex, and it's very diverse back there. There are many walks of life. Young, old, black, white, it doesn't matter. And we all get along great. You know, it's just, again, it goes back to just who you let breed the hate, as far as that goes. You know, I mean, that's what's going to happen. John, I'm going to go ahead and read this one while I find the other one. John 14 let's see, John 14, chapter 14, verse 1 through 4. I may have just read that to y'all, but if I didn't, I did. I just read that one. Yeah, okay. There's another one in here. It was John something. Oh, man, I'm just all out of whack. So Psalms 121, that entire chapter there is one to read. Psalms 118, chapter 118, 5 and 6. That's the one I was trying to find. Psalms 118, 5 and 6. I called upon the Lord in distress. The Lord answered me and set me in a large place. The Lord is on my side. I will not fear what man can do unto me, with the Lord by my side. Also reference Psalms 18, chapter 19. Chapter 18, verse 19. So that's another one there. That's just some things I wanted to share with y'all that I thought were in reference to what's going on right now in today's times. That is going on. I mean, that I think we need to definitely see what we can do. Psalms 42, verse 5. Excuse me. It's actually book 2, Psalms 42, verse 5. Why art thou cast down, O my soul, and why art thou disquieted in me? Hope thou in God, for I shall yet praise him for the help of his countenance. Alright, so I mean, you've got tons of stuff going on. I'm gonna read one last one, and then I'll be finished up here. It's getting a little long-winded because I got lost in some of this stuff. Matthew 11, 28 to 30. So Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 to 30. Let me get back over here. It's not the right book. That is John.
Hey, Daddy, you smell it?
No.
Because I can't find her.
She went back in.
I can't find her. I was doing water balloons.
Well, she went back in the house.
I first found
Rain is under the
I see her.
table. No, Snowflake's in the house, honey.
I can't find her.
Well, I don't know where. She's in there somewhere. Matthew, I forgot what I just said. Let me look it back up. Matthew chapter 11, 28 and 30. So Matthew chapter 11. If I can get my fingers to work. Matthew chapter 11, 28 and through 30. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. References in there are Jeremiah, John, 1 Peter, and 1 John. So, that being said, I'm going to leave y'all with that. I hope y'all have a great and blessed evening. Again, like I said, I'm not perfect. I think there's a lot that we need to still learn. And I think there's a lot of ignorance in this world that needs to be taken care of. I could get really fired up, and I could get really, really heated about my feelings on the situation at hand, but probably wouldn't do much good. The only thing I can tell you to do is pray a lot. Pray for America. Pray for yourself. Pray for your neighbor. If you don't like somebody, pray for them twice as much. One thing I learned is if you can, and I've been blessed with it by God, that if you have any kind of grudge or hate, you have to just release that, and forgiveness is another. As long as you have the forgiveness, you can probably get rid of the hate and the grudge. It is hard. It's very hard. But I tell you, this right here, this is something that every person should read. And you can read it, and you can read it, you can recite it. But if you don't, and I'm guilty of it, but if you don't live it, it don't matter. I'm doing everything I can and the best I can to make sure everything's where it should be. Pray for America. Pray for our troops. Pray for the world. Pray for the guidance for everybody in this world. Every world leader. Again, there are many different things that I can say and do, and that I feel about things, of how things are going, and who's done what, why things have happened, how they have. But ultimately, again, it goes back to good versus evil, and you have to pick your battles, but you got to know your side. God bless you all. Pray and have a great night.